The United States is drowning in debt, $36 trillion and climbing every second. But how did the world's strongest economic, political, and military powerhouse rack up such a massive bill? And more importantly, who holds all of that debt? Well, it's a bit more complicated than you may think. Let's go. Just in the time you've been watching this video, the debt has risen by this much. Now, the reason why so many people are concerned about our national debt is because it's actually more than our annual GDP. For 2024, the US had an average GDP of around 28.83 trillion, while our debt was about 35.46 trillion, meaning a debt to GDP ratio of 123%. And the higher this number gets, the harder it will be for our government to repay its debts. Like in any other situation, the United States has debt because it spends more than it makes. And this is due in part to budget deficits, large spending programs, and economic hardships. Well, what is this debt? Well, the national debt can be divided into two categories. There is public debt, which is money borrowed from external lenders like individuals, corporations, foreign governments, and more who have purchased US Treasury securities. Now, the graphic on the screen is a little outdated, but it gets the point across. The public debt is spread across many different things like pension funds, mutual funds, saving bonds, money owed to different governments, and more. Then there's intergovernmental debt, which is money that the US Treasury owes different federal departments. So this could be money taken from the Social Security Trust Fund or the Medicare Trust Fund. Now, both forms of debt have increased dramatically over the last 10-ish years or so, and it's going to get worse. Like any debt, the US is charged interest. And as of December 2024, it costs $308 billion to maintain that debt, which is 17% of the total federal spending in the fiscal year of 2025. Now, that's a massive chunk of our annual budget just spent on interest. Now, the US is seen as a strong country with a low chance of defaulting. The country has a current credit rating of AA+, which is good, but we were AAA in 2023, which shows that our rating is slowly going down. Now, this is due in part to the debt ceiling, which I'm sure many of you guys have heard of. Basically, the debt limit is how much the government can actually borrow to meet its current existing obligations, and it does not allow for new spending. So, when the government raises the debt ceiling, it allows the government to honor its existing financial commitments, such as paying Social Security, military salaries, and servicing the national debt. And since the United States has never defaulted on its debt, if it did, it would have catastrophic repercussions on the domestic and global economy. So how do we deal with this looming catastrophe? Well, economic growth would reduce the debt to GDP ratio, but that doesn't really solve the problem. Now, reforming entitlement programs like Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare could help, but you'd piss off half the country. Likewise, increasing government earnings could help, but no one likes paying higher taxes. Now, reducing government spending would be the most logical choice, but good luck taking away their money. Now, granted, they can't account for their own money, but you make that argument instead of me. So yeah, the problem ahead is a big one, and it cannot be accomplished during one presidential term. The national debt has been a growing concern for years, and tackling it will require consistent, long-term strategies across multiple administrations. Now, this is a complex issue requiring a combination of tax reforms, spending adjustments, and economic growth strategies. And the road ahead is going to be hard. I mean, it's not like they've been dealing with it for the last 40 years, but should we have the right fiscal policies in place and cooperation, then the United States can actually work towards dealing with this debt. And with that, I'm Evan, and thanks for watching. If you liked what you just saw, then click on the video here. Also, if you haven't, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos.